Hello, hello, hello. I am Dallas Man of Level One Gaming, here with the good brother Nugs, also of Level One Gaming, and another good brother. I want to call you a commentator and competitor, TK Breezy. Now with our discussion, our short discussion a minute ago, I kind of let you know that I'm not personally super into the esports side of gaming, and as a result, don't know a whole lot about you. I'm usually a person that prides themselves when they interview somebody on that introduction, that sway level, introduction. But I just don't have the information. So if you had to give yourself that type of introduction, how would they go?
Okay. Like if I had to really all right.
Put something on it, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm TK Breezy. I've been commentating like several games over the last 15 years. Most notably it was Smash. But for like the last 5-6 years, I've been doing a lot of Tekken 7 and Street Fighter as well. Plus like Brawlhalla on the side and whatnot. I also create content for fighting games to help mid-level players get to, like lower level players get to mid-level, because that's about where I'm at, like mid-high level. So a lot of the times I can help break down the game in a different way than a top player would. So I do that as well. And yeah, I mean, like I feel like I was kind of the blueprint for Smash commentary though. Like me and my boy EE really just like, took that and ran with it. And so like a lot of people who got into commentary either like got into it because of us or like learned something from us as we were coming up.
You said you would kind of, as a mid-level player, break down the game differently than a high-level player would. What does that mean exactly? How does that look? What's the difference in the perspective of a high-level player and a mid-level player?
I think it's just the wording that you use, because I feel like genuinely, like a lot of the times, like high-level players, like when they explain this, whatever they're doing or whatever like they're saying, it's kind of like in basic terms, and it makes sense to another high-level player. Like it's just, oh yeah, you just got a jab there. And like another high-level player who's been in so many situations would know that. But then if you tell that to a low-level player, they're going to hear like jab wins all the time. So I'm going to jab all the time. And then they start getting blown up for getting jabbed. And they're like, but I heard I was supposed to jab here. But there's like a bunch of nuances to that as well, too. So you kind of like, as a person who is a little closer to their level, I feel like it's easier to understand what they mean when they make mistakes and be able to translate that to being like, okay, yeah, you are supposed to jab here, but not all the time. And this is why. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like not necessarily explain it to me like I'm 5, but more make it make sense for where I'm at.
Right. Well, like make it more relatable for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on something you said. You called yourself kind of the blueprint for Smash commentary. What did you mean by blueprint? Was it a style? Well, what were you doing that made you somewhat the blueprint of that?
So when we started commentating around like 2010, right? And before that, like, I mean, current terms was going on forever, but like Smash Brawl, the one that I actually started with, came out 2008. And there really was no talk about commentary like that. Like we had streams and whatnot, but there really was no talk of like, we need commentary. In fact, in the earlier years, there was actually talks of people being like, do we even need commentary at tournaments, right? And so like, I get it, because at the very first, years, people wasn't really commentating. They was kind of just getting on the mic, shit, talking to chat, like you're not really talking about the game and whatnot. And so like that was making it hard for people who actually wanted to watch the game to like, feel involved, engaged or whatever. So, after a while, we just started like honing our actual craft. We started talking more about the game, making jokes, a lot of the jokes that like have like carried on to this day, or like a lot of terms that have carried on to this day, have been made and or popularized by like us. So that's what I mean by we were the blueprint. I think there's, I wouldn't say necessarily we're the style, because I think there's several styles that we kind of hit. I always say I'm like the glue when it comes to like teams. Like I can do every style in some way. If I need to be play-by-play, analytical, or like the commentator, or the funny guy, I can do all of that. But some casters like spec into one thing, right? So I feel like genuinely we were the blueprint, because we were showing that like this is important and this is why it's important. And then a lot of people wanted to be commentators like from that moment.
Okay, that's dope. So I'm sure you get this question a lot, but I gotta ask it. Do you have a favorite FGC game, or like you said, you cover some Smash, you cover some Street Fighter, you cover some Tekken. You gotta have a favorite.
It's Tekken.
Okay.
By like a large margin. Like it's, I grew up mostly with Smash, but like I have always played fighting games on the side, but never really like took them like seriously with the point of like trying to learn them until I'd say like Street Fighter 5. And I wasn't like that great at Street Fighter 5, but when Tekken 7 came out, like I hit the ground running. And so I played all through 7. and then 8 come out. I'm right back there again on 8, but I'm doing like more within the FGC space with 8 as well, as far as like commentary and like generally just like picking up and streaming the game. So I love that game. It can be frustrating sometimes. That's just fighting games for you. So yeah.
How well do you think you have to know a game to like be able to effectively commentate, or you just got to be a good shit talker?
I think it depends on what the event is. Like, I feel like if somebody here decided, you know, if RDC decided we was gonna hire, you know, somebody that don't know too much about the game, but they're just really got the gift of gab, I think you can kind of like BS your way through some fighting games, some terms. It's a fighting game, you know what I'm saying? Somebody getting blown up, you would say that in a real fight, like, oh, that man getting that beat, you know what I mean? So like that's just what it is. But I do think that like you should have like a general knowledge of the game, so you don't gotta be asking like, you know, very base level questions like, oh, who's Jin Kazama? Like, bro, he been in every game since 3. Like, you gotta know things like that. So
is it necessary to know like the vocabulary?
I think it helps. You know, I think with Tekken per se, it's a little harder to do that because there's so many moves. So sometimes I'll forget like the kind of like the notation of a move, like a lot of like mid checks are down 4-1s, right? That's just the input. Like you hold down, you hold forward, you press the 1 button, which is you're right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like sometimes instead of just saying that, I'll be like, okay, you know, nice low check, nice mid check. Oh, he got caught with the plus frame high. Like if you know what the move do, sometimes it's easier to say what the move does or how it hit instead of being like, oh, that was, you know, the full combo. Like he hit him with a down 4, 1, 2, 3, like, you know, stuff like that.
So is there a big difference when we talking about something like Tekken or Street Fighter versus like a platform fighter like Smash?
Yeah, I think there's more empty space in Smash, at least in its current meta, because of the way, like, there's a lot of defensive gameplay right now in Smash. And so, like, interactions don't happen as much as they would happen in a fighting game. And on top of that, the games are just longer. You know what I'm saying? Like, fighting games got 1 life bar. Once it's gone, it's gone. You know, you get knocked out. With Smash, you can live anywhere between, like, a good stock can be anywhere between, like, 70 and, like, 230. You know what I mean?
How does that, like, that open space kind of change the game?
Oh, there's more freedom of movement and just freedom of, like, expression, per se. Like, say in Street Fighter, right? Like, genuinely, whenever somebody hits a certain, like, if I hit a crouch medium kick drive rush, you should expect to see a certain combo based off of what's on the screen. Like if I have a level 3 and I got a lot of drive rush meter, you're probably going to see a drive rush combo into a level 3. But in Smash, because of the fact there's percentages which change how far you go, there's DI which changes where you go as well. A lot of things can like change on the fly. Like if you DI in, I go for up air, but if you DI out, then I go for a forward air, you know, and that changes the whole combo route just off that alone. So there's a little more freedom of movement and then freedom of like combo as well.
I'm sorry, I know like you got a question. It's just that this thought process kind of is leading to a point because I asked that question because I got friends. I have a homie, one in particular, who is adamant about this too. He does not consider platform fighters or arena fighters. Like he feels like they're not real fighting games. So but the way you speak about Smash versus a quote unquote real fighter like Street Fighter or like Tekken makes it seem like it really actually is just different methods.
It's just a different method. I can't really speak on arena fighters because I do kind of agree with them on that. I think most arena fighters in this current day and age are trash. Like they not good. Like the last one I liked was Power Stone 2, bro. Like that was the one. That was way back in Dreamcast. But all these ones they be putting out, like, you know, Jump Ultimate and all that, or Jump Storm, whatever. All that. Like I ain't Force. That's what it was. I ain't like that one. And the Naruto Storm is not really my fan. Like if that's your jam, I ain't gonna tell you, don't play it. Like that's what you want. But like there's a lot of things in that game in particular that make it hard to like fully classify it as a fighting game. For one, the camera. You know what I mean? Whoever's like player 1 kind of has a bigger advantage because the camera's behind them. But in fighting game, the camera's looking at both of y'all. Like, so you really they got the same type of advantage regardless of where you are on level, 1 player, 2 player and stuff like that. So it's just little things like that kind of like make it a little harder to classify it. But in the end of the day, I mean, you fighting in it. So like, it is what it is. Platform fighters though, I feel like the main goal of the thing is to beat your opponent with the tools that you have. And the main goal of a traditional fighter is to beat your opponent with the tools that you have. So, sounds like a fight game to me.
No, yeah.
I just want to say that clearly DreamCon has become like a safe space for Black people, although it's open to everyone. So I kind of wanted to use that to segue into what was your experience like getting into esports, because that wasn't always a lot of Black people there. Did you have any struggles, or how was your experience, and did you have to maybe change up some things or anything like that?
And some point in like the mid 2010s, I definitely had to like kind of, I don't say esports it up. I had to clean up my Twitter and stuff. You know, got to stop saying nigga as much. Like, you know, I was getting. You know, Nintendo started looking like we were actually getting recognized by Nintendo.
Okay.
And so I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna get hired by Nintendo, like I gotta, you know, I can't. They're not gonna hire the man who's, you know, oh nigga, I just got hired by Nintendo. Like, what is he talking about?
Nintendo will hire.
Yeah. So they go. So you know, we cleaned it up. I went through like erased a bunch of old tweets and whatnot. And for a good while, I was working with Nintendo like once or twice a year, and then you know our game kind of like went down by the wayside. Like I think I'm hoping they're working on another Smash right now. But yeah, they just haven't really been promoting Smash like that, so we haven't been used much. But as far as like the greater esports, fighting games and Smash, you know, and all those things, those are mostly like minority games. You know what I mean? Like this is a whole like whole nother I'm just gonna talk your head off about it. No. It's a lot of minorities grew up in arcades or with consoles, right? So you know what I mean? Yeah. So like that's the games we learn. You don't really see a lot of like Black folk playing, you know, at least not at a high level, playing League of Legends or something like that. Right. It's not what we was on. Like,
we had no PCs like that back then.
There's like Asian people, a lot of white people that have been doing that or whatever. We didn't have PCs like that. And like, of course we got PCs now, but it's just what we grew up in is what we stuck. So because of that, the FGC is much easier to navigate as a minority than I think it would be for greater esports and stuff. I've done a couple things with like some of the greater esports. Like I had a little small stint with Rocket League, and they do have a decent amount of people of color over there too. But for the most part, like, you know, when you watch a league cast, like a COD cast, you're not going to see that many of us up there.
Got it. And at this point, you've been in the game well over a decade. So do you see yourself maybe going into your own tournaments if you haven't already, or is there another step past just the commentating? Maybe, you know, TK does his own FGC thing. I
don't think I wouldn't want to run my own tournaments. I think being a TL is hard and it's thankless. But I would like to be on-screen talent for like the rest of my life. Okay. So like, I don't know how that transitions well. Like I have my only idea is like, you know, I start doing stuff on TV like American Ninja Warrior or Wipeout or something like that. And those are things that I would be interested in. And I do have an agency now that's trying to help me out with finding bigger gigs that are not just FGC related. So that's good. I also tell these people that like, depending on whatever the game, if I'm interested in the game, I could probably learn it in 2 weeks and we can, you know, I can commentate it as well. So there was like some talk of me to do some cell phone game, Brawl Stars. It's one of the, I've been playing that every now and then. Game's pretty sick. And so I've been trying to do stuff like that as well. But that's really the end goal for me, is either turn this into a bigger on-screen talent job, or like I sign on to some org or some place as a talent manager because I've been talent. So I know what they want and like how they need to work, and can make that a thing as well.
So this is a super stupid idea. I apologize in advance for saying this. But you know what I really want to see you do? I want to see you commentate a single player action game. Like third person single player action game, Devil May Cry, Black Myth Wukong, wink wink. Something like that. I would really like to see you like learn and commentate one of those games. I think that would be
it's not a bad idea, because I do have this series. Well, I haven't been doing this much anymore, but I had this thing. It was a thing on my YouTube. I can commentate anything, and I would just have people just send me clips of like literally anything. It could be street fights. It could be like, you know, dog racing, just random stuff that in the internet, and like we'll go through them. And I was like, if I thought this was funny, like I'll talk about it. And we had a couple of like Elden Ring clips like that sometimes. So, you know, I just talk about how the boss battle going and whatnot. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, bro. Yeah. Not at all.
It sounds like fun content. I'm actually go see that, because that sounds literally like exactly what I'm asking to see. So if that's already what you're doing, do more. Because once I discover you, once we chilling in the press room, editing, whatever, I'm probably gonna pull up YouTube. I watch that more than TV.
Okay.
So and that type of content, just stuff like that, is like the stuff that entertains me most. That's the stuff that brings me joy. just when I'm scrolling through YouTube because it's fun.
Yeah, I got to do my content currently right now has been a lot more news focused per se. Like I do this thing called Topic Talk. It's just we talk about like current events going on. So not always good, unfortunately. You know, that whole thing with Chris Tyson, had to talk about that recently. That was, you know, ain't the subject I would like to be talking about, but you know, it's what's happening. So, you know, we do stuff like that a lot too, but I do want to get back to the idea I told you. It was something I got like 3 or 4 videos up there like that, but I definitely want to do like way more.
It brings me an immense amount of joy to see people like just having fun with their content, especially when it heavily incorporates their skill set.
Yeah,
because it's just good.
Yeah,
I can't explain it any better than it. Okay, another stupid question. What's the difference between Smash and Brawlhalla? Because I played both a fair amount. Like, okay, I played both maybe more than I should have. But from a person who's good at breaking these things down in a way that people who are at low to mid level can fully understand, what would you say is the difference between those two platform fighters?
I mean, first, the engines are like completely. Brawlhalla has definitely played a lot more aerial, I guess. You can be in the air a lot longer. You can do a lot more. There's a lot more air actions you can get. Whilst there is some characters in Smash that are aerial based, like, you know, you got Jigs, you got Kirby, stuff like that. Most of the game consists of like short hops and like doing stuff that is starting from the ground, kind of, or like starting close to the ground wall. On Brawlhalla, you can literally fight pretty much anywhere. And I think also because most of the characters have pretty much the same moveset depending on what weapon you're holding. And then you have your 3 SIGs, so you have 6 different moves that nobody else has, but that's all locked behind SIGs, which are basically smashes. A lot of it ends up being like just stats, what weapon's good, and you know, that's pretty much it at that point in time. So it's a little easier, I think, to understand why a character is good in the current meta for Brawlhalla. I also think the game can be harder at the higher level because when you start moving, like the AMP or APM, that game is pretty high when you really start like moving and understanding it.
You gotta, I mean, I won't ask if you have a favorite. I couldn't choose because one of them I like the gameplay, or I can click with the gameplay of it more, and the other one, like, I just enjoy it more.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I think I would say I like Smash more, but it's just because like that's the one that like, that's the platform fighter I grew up with, so I just know it like that. But I don't have no qualms or issues with Brawlhalla. I like the game just much too. It's just, you know, Smash is always going to stick out to me as like the platform fighter.
Yeah.
I noticed you said it was Street Fighter, Tekken, and Smash for you. No Mortal Kombat ever?
I tried, man. I liked Injustice 1 for a bit. I got Injustice 2. I was like, this ain't for me. And I've tried. I actually do have MK1. I like the story for MK1, so I did play through it and whatnot. But it's stiff. It's just a stiff game. It feels stiff to me, bro. I can't I can't get it. And like I've been trying to understand. I got a lot of homies in Mortal Kombat 2 that like I hang out with on a regular basis during a tournament, and I like watching them play, but I just can't play myself.
Yes, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
And as far as Smash, man, you said we might not ever get another one, and I just can't picture a world without Smash. But I guess if we were to get another one, what more could they do, or what would you want to see?
A reset. Like, Smash Ultimate was what it says, the ultimate. It brought everything, every character back, all that good stuff. And that was very cool. That was a very cool thing they did. But I think there are so many new things with certain characters that like they could just have a smaller, like a 24-man list, but they're really fleshed out. So like Mario started using Cappy and all the other stuff that he got from Odysseys and Galaxy and stuff like that. And Luigi does more stuff with like the stuff from Luigi's Mansion. Link got all this stuff from Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. And like we did get some semblance of like changes because Link did get the Tears of the Kingdom or the Breath of the Wild bomb. But like you could do so much more than just give him the bomb. Like he could definitely be a character with all the skills he got now. So I would like to see something like that where they kind of like cut down the list and then like really flesh out those characters to like really show the expression of the new age of those characters.
Honestly, if y'all are watching Nintendo, let's get on that.
And give us the violence too. I'm sorry, it's fighting. They're not killing each other. These are Nintendo characters. Listen, Kirby is literally like a cuter version of Kid Buu. You can't kill him. Like it's all right. Is there anything that? Oh wait, actually, Sorry, Baron. So we got a homie named Baron who knows everything about everybody. He actually had some stuff that he wanted to know himself, right?
Okay.
Excuse me while I go find it. But he does so much for us. I can't like leave him out of this conversation.
Of course.
Let me see. Okay, so excuse me, wait. I'll say I'm gonna read it like he read it.
Okay.
Possibly in his voice. I mean, like I'm gonna read it like he typed it.
Okay,
right? Yeah. So not to be pocket watching, but according to liquidpedia.net, you have a grand total of $22 won as a competitor. Can you break down the event and where you won that prize?
It was just local, man. I just do doubles. Like that's I'm not a placer like that. Even in my locals, I was like when our locals were big, let's say we had like 100-man local, I placed like 17th, 13th. That's not the money though. Like I'm gonna win some stuff, but I'm not winning no money. But I'm really good at doubles. And me and my partner at the time, Pink Fresh, like that was my doubles partner. We won a lot of stuff. Or we won a lot of small locals, but there was never really like any money on the top. That only counts the money that I won, not the money that I make for commentary. I promise you I made more than $22. I promise I made more than $22 in commentary. So, but yeah, that's only, Wikipedia only talk about your tournament winnings. I don't be winning like that.
Why you think you so much more successful as a commentator than as a competitor? You think there's a difference in the level of dedication, or what do you think that is?
It's a different skill set. Like you got to be able to like. There's a different thing about like your hands and your brain have to function together in real time. Like that's why whenever like someone loses and they get off the stage and somebody always give them some hindsight, I'm like, shut up. You know what I mean? Like you weren't on the stage. You might have made that same mistake at that same point in time. So if somebody asks for advice later, then go ahead. But like as soon as somebody get off the stage, if I like, I'm at Evo, I get second place because I made like one mistake at the end. If I get off that stage and somebody say, why don't you just up smash? I'm a up smash them. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be mad as hell. So, but like, that's really it. Like, I think it's just, there's a different type of nerve when it comes to playing and commentating. I think, I still think commentating can be hard for people that are not like social, right? But for quick thinkers and stuff like that, and people whose hands and brain work and function and translate to each other very well, I think they have a higher chance, especially if they understand the game, of getting those dubs than somebody who does not have that. And I'm one of those people that I feel like sometimes, the pressure get to you, I start mashing. Yeah.
Okay. So, and when it comes to commentary, you're not gonna run out of stuff to say. You just really describe what you see. So there's no mashing equivalent.
Yeah, I mean, like the only time you really run out of stuff to say is like when things are taking too long and you got to feel for a long time. But like being around for so long and commentating so long, there's like I don't say like a playbook, but there's definitely like a amount of things that you can kind of just baseline say for filler that can at least fill up like 5-10 minutes. After that 10-minute mark though, if we still feeling, I'll just cut the break. I don't care what the production say. I'll be like, look, we're going to break, bro. Y'all are not ready. I'm not ready. We're going to break. So I'll make that executive decision. Yeah.
That makes sense. How much, how often do you actually feel like you have to make, not even just that one, just in general, how often do you feel like, listen, I don't care what y'all say, we got to do this?
Not often. That's probably like once or twice a year at most. But for the most part, like production's kind of got it down now. They're very quick on like having the players come up, get ready. By the time we finish like talking about the last match, we should already be loading into the next match so we can start talking about that, or at least having the character select screen on the screen so we can talk about who they about to play and stuff like that.
We want to be respectful of your time, so I'll just do one more question and then last remarks. Outside of the FGC stuff, what's your favorite part about DreamCon? And do you have anything that you want to say to the dreamers out there who may not have made it?
Well, one is like obviously just seeing like some of my favorite Black creators and people that like I didn't know that they knew me, because I get hired to do this. But like the first DreamCon I came to, I like ran into marketing them, and I was like, oh, I'm a big fan. They was like, big fan? We a big fan. I was like, ain't no way, bro. Like, ain't no way, man. So like that was cool. We sat down and played Smash together and whatnot. and it's always cool to see them. It's always cool to see, you know, Breezy and them as well. Fun fact, that's actually my cousin. And
What?
So yeah, people be throwing that. They be like, for real? I'm like, yeah, no.
Did y'all coordinate the names?
We did not. Actually, we didn't even know we was cousins until like kind of recent. So like, yeah, it was you know, I'd say like 4 or 5 years back, we kind of figured that out. So by that time, I'd already been me. He had already been him. So like, yeah, but it was yeah. So that was it's cool. And then on top of that, just I mean, being around like this is like really the only event I'd have to say that I'm around like this many people, this many black people. If I'm being honest, you know what I'm saying? Like I can go to San Diego Comic Con, I can go to PAXs and whatnot, and I'm gonna see black people, but I ain't gonna see them in abundance like
all
this.
Black people.
Yeah,
so you just feel at home. It's
like yeah. And like the culture's coming. Like I made that tweet today. I was talking about how like just in passing, I've heard so many people just, you know, black people. And I've just been hearing that in passing so much. It is killing me, bro. But like as far as the Dreamers go, man, I think I'm just happy that they keep coming out. I know that sometimes there's some growing pains to this place because we getting bigger and bigger, and some things don't run the way they need to run. But the thing is, you're here with your homies, and you know, you get to meet a lot of the people that you've probably been looking up to a while. And if we had a panel earlier too, I saw some people really asking about like how to get into content, and it was just as simple as, hey man, turn your camera on and do it, bro.
Yeah,
you know, and like it was real. Like those people, like once they said it, it's like it just clicked. Afro was on the camera. He just said, yeah, just gotta turn it on, bro. Like your first few videos might suck, but you did it, and then you learn from there. And so it's just nice to be able to kind of like give people that, even though it's like kind of basic level advice, they just want to hear it, and he was able to tell them.
Yeah, that's hard. Hey, listen, get your inspiring ass up out here. I can see. Okay, listen. I'm probably gonna fall down the rabbit hole of content at this point. This is usually an excuse for me to find a bunch of new shit to annoy my family with. So this is gonna be one of those things. Okay. Especially if it's funny. And it's gotta be, you clearly are a conversationalist and can't make it and can make damn near anything interesting, clearly. That being said, this has been TK Breezy. I'm Dallas Man of Level 1 Gaming.
Nugget of Level 1 Gaming. Thank y'all for watching.
Turn on the camera and do it.